It's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, March 9th. Okay, so we have the moon in her rulership in Cancer energy for the majority of the day, but we will see the moon go void, of course, at 5:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then we lock into Leo energy at 7 p.m. So here's the deal. We have been in this emotional ocean for what seems to be forever. Technically speaking, it's only been for like 2 or 3 days that the moon has been in her rulership in this Cancer energy, adding to the emotional intensity of what Pisces season has been about. And so it does feel like, we have been kind of tossed around back and forth and up and down for quite some time now. But realistically speaking, when the moon is going to shift out of her rulership in this Cancer energy and move into Leo energy, we are definitely going to feel that shift in our mood, in our attitude, in our perspective, in our heart space. And it's definitely going to give us a little tiny bit of relief. But of course, the moon in Leo then helps us to boss up. We have to build in our boldness, our bravery, our courage, emotionally speaking, in order to get to the pivot point that, again, we're all working towards to take action, to make moves in the physical realm. So, of course, the transition from Cancer energy to Leo energy is always welcome. Here's the thing, the minute that we move into the moon in Leo energy, there's no activity going on in the cosmos. So it's a very interesting dynamic. We have all of this energy building up throughout the day. We fall into the void. Things are shaky, unstable, uncertain. We drift right into this fire energy of Leo. And then we sit in it. Nothing happens. There's no interactions. There's no movement. We just kind of sit with ourselves and, again, take in what's going on from a totally different perspective. The moon in Cancer has been overly attached to the past. The moon in Leo is going to help us kind of anchor into the present moment so that we can gauge what we need to be building towards as far as futuristic goals, dreams, desires go. Now, this is going to be the first of 3 moon days here again this week, which I think is a little bit weird, a little bit bizarre. If you haven't listened to the Ascension forecast for this week, I'm going to recommend you do that, where I go on a little bit of a rant about how weird that is. But anywho, we have 7 different aspects popping off here today. All 7 of them are going to involve the moon. So again, this is a day of emotional refinement, emotional realignment, recalibration, if you will. And the minute that that moon moves into Leo energy, we're going to be building in our strength, in our self-confidence, in our self-esteem. So the very first thing that we got going on here today is the moon in Cancer energy, getting into the boxing ring, squaring off with Chiron, the wounded healer. So of course, this isn't going to feel good. We get this square because we're going through a growing pain. This is cardinal energy squares, which means that Cancer energy being a cardinal water sign, Aries energy being a cardinal fire sign. This is where, again, we're having a hard time letting go of who it is that we once were and really anchoring in, double downing, and betting on who it is that we currently are. Now, all of this is a process because, again, we are building ourselves up to who it is that we need to be in order to jump into this next chapter, but we're not there yet. And so, again, the moon in Cancer, highly, highly attached to the past, definitely putting us in a situation, in a position where, again, we're kind of, I'm going to say, a little bit of a Debbie Downer. We're kind of looking at who it is that we had to be, who it is that we currently are through a little bit of a negative type of lens. Chiron, of course, the wounded healer, he's being aspected in not the greatest way, which means that we're going to be sitting in our wounds instead of focusing in on our healing and on what we've been able to kind of grow through and fix and heal and repair. And so emotionally speaking, again, the gap that we're currently sitting in, we are in an ending and a closure chapter. We are nearing towards eclipse energies and, of course, the end of the zodiac wheel, diving into the new astrological calendar, which is definitely going to revive us in many, many different ways. At this particular juncture, we're just not feeling so hot. We're not feeling strong. We're not feeling confident. We're not feeling like we have what it takes to do what needs to be done. And of course, that never feels good, but we can learn a lot about the fears, the doubts, the insecurities, the resistance to change, where it is that we're hella focused on the past and where it is that we need to give our head a shake and become a little bit more present in the here and now. The moon in Cancer is then going to trine, which is a beautiful interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, in this Pisces energy. This is water on water action, and this is going to help break up the funk, if you will, of that particular interaction with Chiron. Reason being, water on water action cleanses us. It purifies us. It washes over us. It breaks up the junk and the gunk in order to refresh, renew, and kind of, restore our inner realm of emotion, of our soul space, of our intuition. It is definitely a refresher type of energy. Now, where Saturn is concerned, of course, there's a little bit of a reality check. So we are getting kind of shook up to come back into this present moment, so to speak. But we're also getting a little bit more organized with our emotions. The last couple of days, of course, so much water in the cosmos. We're having a hard time really kind of pinpointing what it is that we're actually feeling, what it is that we're actually experiencing, whether or not we actually own that energy or we're picking it up from the collective. So Saturn kind of gives us a little bit of a shake up, a little bit of a wake up to help us get very clear on what is ours to carry and what is not, what is ours to kind of do a deep dive in and what is not. So we're definitely starting to gain a little bit of emotional clarity, a little bit of emotional stability with this particular interaction. And it's setting the tone for the moon in Cancer energy, sextiling, beautiful interaction with Uranus, the Great Awakener, in Taurus energy. This is a beautiful interaction because it's downloading us with insight. This is when the clarity is coming. So not only do we gain a little bit of emotional clarity, emotional stability from the interaction with Saturn, then we get to build upon it with new insights, with a new download, with a new epiphany, new light bulb moment kind of popping off, especially in the realm of where it is that we've been holding on to people, places, and things that we've outgrown, that we definitely have learned the lesson from, that for some reason we're refusing to let go of fully. And so this is going to kind of show us where it is that, yeah, okay, we can continue to reflect back in the past. We can continue to, be romanticizing certain elements of the past. But the longer we stay in the past, the longer we're going to be in this particular uncomfortable position in the present moment. Because again, we need to anchor our energy in and operate from a level of wholeness and completion in this present moment in order to get us out of the situation, the circumstance that, of course, our old version of selves have gotten ourselves into. So this is a shake up, a wake up, not only to our central nervous system, but to insight, to clarity coming in now. We're seeing things very differently. We are definitely growing and healing and strengthening ourselves to the point that we need to get at in order to detach for good, disconnect for good from the old. The moon in Cancer energy then going to trine, which is a beautiful interaction with that North Node in Pisces. So again, we get water on water action. Considering the fact that the North Node in Pisces is very focused on the path that we need to be on in order to align with these new goals, visions, and dreams, this new mission, this new purpose, the trine is really helping us to kind of sort through our thoughts, our emotions. It's really putting us in a situation to think about some of the challenges and obstacles that we're currently facing and kind of flipping the script and seeing them as a little bit of a challenge to rise up, rise above, really put into action and test whether or not we actually have control over ourselves, over our energy, our mental plane, our heart space. And because that North Node in Pisces is really showing us where it is that we need to end up, there's a lot of imagination, a lot of creativity swirling to put us in a situation where we're visualizing that end goal. Now, the moon in Cancer is then going to semi-square, creating a little bit of tension and conflict with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings, who, of course, is in Gemini energy, thus the division. Thus why we're flip-flopping. Thus why we're feeling torn in two different directions. Jupiter, of course, usually brings the hype, brings the optimism, brings the confidence, brings the magnifier on the goals, the visions, the dreams that we want to be kind of working our way towards. But this is a semi-square. This is not the greatest interaction. It's going to highlight for us where it is that we're having a hard time seeing that end goal, where we're having a hard time pushing ourselves into the part of self that needs to be open to adventure, open to rise up to that particular challenge. Because, of course, With the moon being in Cancer energy, overly attached to the past, we're leaning towards the part of self, trying to justify, trying to settle for what it is that we currently got so that we can give ourselves a little bit of permission slip to not actively build ourselves up to the version of self that we need to be in order to make all of these changes. This is like us trying to avoid accountability and responsibility for being the creator of our own realm, of our own reality. 5:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have our very last aspect taking place, not only with the moon in Cancer before it goes void, of course, but for the day. And so the moon in Cancer energy in her rulership is going to trine, which is a beautiful interaction, this time with Neptune in his rulership in Pisces energy. So again, this is water on water action, very cleansing, very purifying, definitely going to lighten the load, definitely going to renew, refresh, restore our hopes, our wishes, our dreams. Our higher self is coming in hot. We're able to align with our intuition much stronger than ever before. We're receiving insight. We're receiving downloads on what the goal, the vision, the dream actually is right now and what we can do to build ourselves up in our inner realm to prepare for the action that is eventually going to be needed in order for us to make some progress in a new path, in a new direction. So this is going to be very dreamy. It's going to be very imaginative. Again, we kind of give ourselves permission to kind of move into La La Land, to think about where it is that we would like to go from here. And it is at this particular juncture, 5:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that the moon is going to go void, of course. We shift into that Leo energy at 7 p.m. and we sit in it for the rest of the day. Again, really taking a good look at our lives, at our present moment from a different lens. We are heart aligned. We are building ourselves up to be bold, brave, and courageous to do all the things that we have been resisting in doing.